Hey everybody, Prepper for the Ages coming at you from my bug out vehicle. How you doing today? Just wanted to give you an update about what's going on. It is day something of the great floods of 2023. The rain started coming in on Monday night. I went to my other location that morning, but let me just tell you, I put a 5-gallon bucket out by the garden because I was doing a garden project and I needed knew I needed a 5-gallon bucket. I was walking past it, so I grabbed it and I put it out there as I was going out the door. So I had to go to my other location and do a lot of work. So I did a lot of work on the other location, and I had one errand to do on the way back, and that was when the skies opened up. I was driving down the road. I couldn't get to the house. It was detour after detour. I drove down the highway, and luckily on the exit that I was getting off, the cars were backed up to that exit, a little bit past that exit, so there was a sea of red lights. So I managed to get off of that highway and go the back roads, and the back roads were terrible. I was going through a lot of washouts. It was almost dark on when I got off the highway, and it was dark by the time I got home. But I wasn't able to get home right away. So I went through washouts. I went through in the middle of we have culverts under our roads. So basically the culverts filled up and it was washing over the road. Rain was washing over the roads, coming down the hills. At one point I had a nice steep ascent and a big curve, which is on the street, a few streets behind me, where I live, and it was like I was going up rapids. I'm like, okay, and the little SUV that could. So that happened. I had my dog with me. I managed to get 200 yards from my house, and I got stuck. There was rapids in front of me, where I had a little ravine. I have a little ravine outside. Out back of my house, and I could not. That ravine goes down 2 houses, and that's the street I was trying to get across to turn and come up to the house. That thing was over the road. It was over the road so bad that the neighbor's vending machine on the left-hand side, the neighbor had an old vending machine that was outside his house, and he's had that thing for years. It just lifted up, the water lifted it up, lifted it across the road, and it was down in the other neighbors across the roads, in back of their house. And so with rubber and plastic and all that stuff and jugs of oil, and it was terrible. So I did manage to get home. My mom the 8 had left about, I would say 2:30, 3 o'clock. So it was 8 o'clock by the time I got home. Mom was in the dark. The neighbors had gone to check on her, but they had troubles. They had 4 feet of water in their basement, and the water was so high in back, it had come up over their above ground pool. That's how it was, and it just flooded their above ground pool. So I got home, it was terrible. I took care of Mom, fed her, changed her, did all of the things, gave her good night pills, and I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching my basement fill. So it stopped. The rain stopped in the middle of the night, but the next morning I came out, and that 5-gallon bucket had 11 inches of water in it. Yeah. So that was the synopsis of the first 12 hours after, flooding and after the flooding. So, and then it was dealing with all of the water in my basement, and it was terrible. So, but sorry, I'm just staring out. I'm just so tired. I had standing water in my basement. I had standing water in the cellar hole. Didn't dare open the back doors because you don't know if the water's going to go in or go out. So, and everything had flooded, and it was just, the priorities were drain the water, pick through the stuff, drain more water, pick through the stuff. And it was bad. I'll tell you more about it later, but the first step was draining the water. And I had an old pump from years ago, so I put that down, and it drained all but the last 2 inches of water throughout the entire basement. And it's a huge basement. It is a huge basement. And I had stuff all over the floor because that was a project. It was a project I was going to do. I was going to buy racks and put the stuff up on racks. but that was on the list, and I'll talk about on the list and taking care of 2 houses, mom with dementia, and having a full-time job and not having any time. Apart from my family and my dog, this is it's the most valuable thing was time, and I don't have that. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I know the video's getting a little bit long, but that was the first few hours of the great flood of 2023. And yes, the bucket did have 11 inches of water in it. Oh, great. All right. Okay, it's Sunday, and I'll think about more about the next day and tell you a little bit more about that. But it is something that is definitely, I prepped a little bit, and it paid off a lot. And my brother came out and helped me, and he said that too. Basically, he was like, yeah, that helped. That basically, the tools that I put aside definitely made the difference. So, all right, okay. I hope this finds you well. Take care. Bye.